for me and my bros to tap into our emotions. It's cool to be vulnerable, no ego allowed. This is a place where the men go and free our minds and blow the stress out the window. Hot topics, past tense, current events, whatever is on your heart and your mind, if that makes sense. Speak about whatever, no judgment, shoot from the hip. Let it flow, just like water under a bridge. You get in my drift, a point of view from my lens of history and glimpse. No filter, say what it is. Unscripted.
Or my headphone.
Watch what you said. If the truth hurts, go therapy is the meds.
I don't know why I just had this feeling to talk, and I just fucking talk over the intro every time. Now I'm just like, do I wait? Do I just keep talking? One of these days.
No matter what, you're gonna make it scuffed. I swear, you're gonna piss me off. You're gonna push me over the fucking edge.
Yo, Philly, you gotta go on a streak. You gotta, like, we're sitting here and I see like murder posters everywhere. We got serial killers scattered around. He's talking about going on a murder streak. Man's manifesting.
Young Philip, I think you're in the right place tonight. It sounds like you need some bro therapy, dog.
Oh shit.
Uh-oh.
Episode 69 of the Bro Therapy Show.
Episode 69. We back from Texas.
Yeah. Hey, bring that screen back up, Young Philip.
We're back from Texas.
I like seeing this shit.
Yeah.
I like seeing this shit because progress is not measured.
Oh. Everyone goes visuals.
Progress is not measured by distance.
Hold up, I can pull it here. I just wanted to see the audio mixer. My bad. We good though.
Homie's trying to give you your flowers,
I was
man.
trying to, but now you cut me off about 3 times. So,
Dog, I'm sorry. I messed it up so
you
bad.
don't have to be sorry, my guy. You don't have to be sorry, but you did miss that train. What's going on with you guys?
Hello, YouTube viewers.
YouTube viewers. Oh, are we on YouTube? We're on YouTube.
We got a visualizer.
Oh, wait. Are we active live streaming on YouTube right now?
No.
Oh, shit. Oh, but the visual. Yes, that's right. So this is going to be going on YouTube later.
Yeah, a couple episodes ago, we announced that there was most likely a YouTube page coming. So Bro Therapy is officially on YouTube. Shout out to our producer, Young Philip. What I was trying to say, bro, was that progress is not measured by distance, but by movement. And I just love seeing innovation, and this is dope what I'm looking at. The visuals that I'm looking at is dope. It's the first step towards where we want to go with this show, and this is going to look fire on TikTok and YouTube. Fire. Fucking fire, bro.
Absolutely, dog. Fucking. Oh, dude. No, I looked away for like 2 seconds and now I'm looking at the big screen. And yeah, this is a vibe. This is a fucking vibe. Maybe it's just like the 90s kid in me being like, damn, dude, I really miss having a lava lamp in my room. Lava lamps were the shit. Yo, I used to have a lava lamp, and then I had a water tube that had it made bubbles like of air in the water, and fish, like plastic fish with little tails that moved, and it would push the fish up to the top of the tube, and then they'd fall down and get pushed back up. It was like a modified lava lamp. That shit was dope.
I have a vague memory of something like that.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Maybe we all had it. How many people out there have one of those? Hit us in the comments. We should talk about our little episode 69. Yo, so I just want to say before we get into our little Texas trip, our little Texas Hold'em little excursion, maybe talk about that just a tiny bit, be a little vague, but just give our general thoughts on everything and express ourselves, share some stories about some funny shit that we saw while we were out there. The listeners, when you're listening to this episode, you will be able to go and check out the Bro Therapy Show Patreon page, where we will be posting content, exclusive content for Patreon listeners. We are going to keep the admission or option if listeners want to support the Bro Therapy Show at $1. You'll get access to sound checks and or any bonus content that we end up uploading over to there. Anything that we deem that wasn't suited or fit to be on this show will probably be uploaded over there as bonus content for any of our hardcore fans, or if you guys just want to support us over there. There's no higher paid tier options, specifically because, and written on the Patreon, we would much prefer you guys to just share the show with other people and be able to have dope conversations about topics that you guys find interesting. That's much more important to us, and that your support for the show definitely doesn't go unnoticed. So thank you so much. We're definitely going to be uploading stuff over there. It's going to stay in line with our regular schedule kind of releases over here on this show. So whenever there's new content that comes up over here, there's probably going to be some kind of smaller piece around the same schedule uploaded over there. So about 2 to 3 maybe a month for you guys to be able to listen into or check out in your free time.
Fire. This is such an exciting episode. Bro Therapy has a YouTube page. Bro Therapy has a Patreon page. So how do people get to our Patreon page?
You could just go on Patreon and type in The Bro Therapy Show. It's Patreon/The Bro Therapy Show.
Fire.
Also, it's written on the Patreon as well, but all the proceeds that go to the Bro Therapy Show will be reinvested into the Bro Therapy Show, specifically for like production purposes and improving equipment and stuff like that. So if you guys are wondering where any of that money is going to be going, that's where it's going to be going. It's going to be going directly into improving the infrastructure for the show so that we can hopefully try to provide a better listening experience for you guys, but still keeping it authentic as usual. Just for an example, we do have a conversation where we alluded to it on our previous episode, and we talk about the TikTok stuff. And it was actually brought up to me by my mom at a later date that there's 2 different bills. So there is the S86 bill, and then there's a TikTok bill, and there's a lot of confusion between which bill is which. And I'm pretty sure I myself mixed up stuff and then mixed up stuff when I was sending stuff to you. So we go and rant off and go to crazy land talking about like the topic in a very intense manner. But true to the Bro Therapy Show, we're just 2 guys talking shit about stuff we know nothing about. Thanks. And if you guys do want to be able to listen to that, that will be one of the first options, first pieces of content for you guys to be able to listen to when you hear this episode. So if you hear this episode, that is up and over on the Patreon. You can go out and check that out right now and go ahead and dive in and get a more behind the scenes gritty version of, more uncensored version of the Bro Therapy Show, essentially.
I do want to say about that episode, the first Patreon episode, although we may have gotten those 2 bills mixed up, maybe we didn't. We'll know when we listen back on it, or at least I will. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much Patreon. Anywho, I think I'm going to still stand on most of what I said in that episode. I have a feeling, maybe not, but I have a feeling I am.
I think for the most part, a lot of what was just talked about was more like sentiments.
Yeah.
So even if like the topics or the bills themselves might not be accurate in its representation, the topics that we reflect on are still pretty genuine, authentic opinions and
Yeah.
and shared feelings amongst each other. So you guys are still going to be getting a piece of content in that. And then also we do a lot of sound checks. We do a lot of after recording and before recording, and there's going to be a lot of like just silly tidbits here and there for you guys to for you guys to check out over there, if not on TikTok anytime stuff gets uploaded. So definitely if you guys want to support us, go support us over there. It is going to be $1 a month. That is the lowest, I believe, option on Patreon for us to be able to do any kind of paid content. This is just a way for you guys to show your support if you truly want to do that, but obviously not a requirement.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm excited.
Me too, dude.
You so could have made an OnlyFans joke
What do you mean?
for your Patreon.
What about it?
Because it's episode 69, man. You promised an OnlyFans.
I mean, it's as close as we're getting.
Yeah. You could have easily did a joke to that.
Oh man, dude,
Easily, man.
I don't know. I'm like in like
No, that's exciting shit, bro.
serious
That's exciting shit.
Oh fuck! I definitely could have did an OnlyFans joke. Yeah,
You so could.
I get kicked into like business mode. He's like he's over here and he's like, I can tell he's in a mood where he wants somebody to take the reins. And when he's in a mood where he wants somebody to take the reins, I'm like, all right, business mode engaged. Like we gotta be like formal and like talk about the things like in a structured manner. And
I do have one more thing for YouTube viewers.
Hey, well, we're knocking it out the park, dog.
I do have one more thing for YouTube viewers. So the visualizer you see right now will be re-uploaded on every other episode, every week. So 69, you'll see episode 1 next week, re-uploaded with the visualizer.
Oh, so we're going to re-release all the old episodes?
On YouTube at least, yeah.
oh shit,
Fire. So, oh, that's fire, bro. That's fire.
we're about to
Listen,
YouTube about to have a problem with that.
that's gonna help me clip up old. That's gonna give me a reason to clip up old shit, bro. There's so much gold. I'm
Listen.
bro. I'm so excited that like our fans, all 5 of y'all, are true fans. Like
Nah, we love y'all.
that they get to re-listen to like the old shit. There's so much gold in the old episodes. There's so much fucking gold. Oh, I'm so excited for this.
There really
so
is.
excited.
There really is.
I'm
Those
so
old
excited.
episodes are a fucking gem.
I'm so excited. So how can people get to our YouTube page?
YouTube.com/at the Broke Therapy Show.
Fire.
Easily. Easily.
Fire.
Yeah, absolutely. I made sure too, like when I was making the Patreon, that it was the same title as our Spotify setup. So it is the Bro Therapy Show, like all capitals spaced out. But I mean, it's mashed up together. Yeah, like that.
Yeah, that's fire, bro. That's fire. I'm so excited. YouTube.com/at the Bro Therapy Show.
Got a YouTube.
Hell yeah.
69 episodes.
Hello,
Patreon.
YouTube.
Hell yeah.
Still Facebook. Still on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Google,
Anchor.
Anchor. Anything?
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
Listen, man, I don't know if the listeners would pay for my OnlyFans. I don't know.
I can give them a snippet on the visualizer.
Oh boy. We're going to get banned off YouTube. We're not even going to be on YouTube for a week.
Crazy.
Hey, man, you know, I where I stand on that is a lot of that shit's art. I got that European background. Fucking, I'm sorry, Americans are weird with that nudity shit. I'll stand on that. I think Americans are weird on that, on nudity.
Can Facebook upload full visualizers or no?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Can it?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I'm a dummy boy. Big dummy. Hello.
I'm not sure.
Do you Would you say that most of our listeners are centralized through Facebook or Spotify? Let's have a transparent moment.
Well, there's not really much on Facebook. All that Facebook does is send people to Spotify.
Mm.
I think it's like, isn't there? Doesn't it give you the analytics?
Possibly.
I would say like 90% is probably Spotify.
Oh, you meant like that listen to the show?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And
I
then,
can look that
like,
up for you.
And then like 5%.
We just wanted to know how many were listening from Facebook versus listening from Spotify.
Oh, no one listens from Facebook because
Yeah,
we send
Facebook-
them.
Facebook just sends it to
Okay.
Spotify.
It's like having a Twitter.
But I wonder, like, comparison wise, how many people get routed from Facebook to Spotify versus people who go directly through Spotify, like the traffic.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
That would be an interesting comparison, because I would like to think that Spotify is integrated well enough with a lot of our listeners and our user experience that most people probably go through Spotify. But I'm just projecting because I use Spotify to find that stuff out. Like, I don't use Facebook at all.
Yeah, same here. I have every the shows that I follow, the ones that are like my favorite shows, I got them alerted. So Spotify tells me when there's a new episode to consume, and I go that way.
Yeah, I actually even check. Like, I mean, Spotify has like your favorite like listens and whatnot always at the
Yeah.
top, anyways. But like,
Yeah.
I even go out my way to like check all the shows that I listen every.
Of all time, of course, it's going to be Spotify because
Mhm.
majority of your episodes were Spotify exclusive.
Yeah, that's a big green.
That's a big green.
That's a big green.
But when did we start
Oh.
the Am I good?
Yeah, I smacked my mic.
Yikes.
My bad.
When did we start
Being
the other-
Goonies. Oh,
Was that the start of 2023?
Spotify.
Oh, I can't remember now, young Philip.
All right, we're going to say from last year to
It's
No.
definitely been a year.
I don't even know.
You've been with us. You've been with us over a year now.
Don't say that, dude. Time is going so fast. I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited for the future, but holy shit, time is going fast.
mainly Spotify still, 72%. You still got a 14% on web browser. Like a good 8% for Apple Podcasts. So you still got your crowd. And iHeartRadio has 3%.
Respect. Appreciate and love everyone who listens.
Absolutely, you guys are the best.
Been following us, and man, I'm so excited. You guys got a YouTube page now. You guys got a Patreon.
No.
page now.
We.
Oh, I meant you as in the listeners. Like they
Oh,
have
okay.
more. You have more now.
I'm excited for them
I
to
love
get that
growth.
Patreon content. Like the people that end up getting that Patreon content, yo.
I love growth.
You definitely have to be like a hardcore listener to want to get that Patreon content, because there's gonna be stuff that does not make it to the episodes. So
Oh, facts. So speaking of content, as far as I want to talk briefly about this new episode that I have coming out soon, and it'll probably shift us into whatever you want to vaguely talk about from our trip. But you can check out all my solo. I got a crazy echo. You can check out all my solo content. Linktree/Ace Ford, and I have an episode coming out the first of the month, with a returning guest and good friend of mine. And I was trying to tell her convey to her that, you know, like I had a really good overall. I had a really good year this year. It was a nice year. A lot of happiness
One for the books.
for sure. And I was trying to say that with being so happy and not being so depressed as much throughout the year this past year, I'm a little fearful of like it makes me think, and the more I think about it, I'm like I never truly want to completely lose whatever that depression is, because I feel like if I lose that depression,
Beauty and suffering, dude.
I'm gonna lose like a really big edge to my creativity, because like, and I said that to her, maybe in different words.
I feel like artists will understand what you're saying.
Yeah. And then I was just trying to say that like th- some of the best shit that I've created, I'm talking about the shit that like I feel proud of in my heart. Like it it satisfies some feeling inside of me. Like the best shit that I've created has come out of like my deepest depressed times.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't ever have that,
Yeah.
then like whatever that extra edge grit, like whatever that is, I'm afraid that I won't have that either. And basically her response was like, I don't think that's good, and like you should probably just heal. You should just heal your shit. But
you can I'm not go ahead. Sorry.
I just no, you can sound off, but I also I don't she doesn't believe that uh depression is normal. And I think based on my experience that, and I'm confident that a lot of people, especially artists, probably feel or can relate to me a little bit, that like depression is a pretty normal part of people's life and existence.
Mm-hmm.
Um so I kind of like look
Part
at
of,
what's that, bro?
I was just gonna say part of the emotional expression. My bad.
Yeah, like I just look at it like a wave. It's just another wave to life. And but it's pretty normal at this point in life. Uh but yeah, I'm kind of afraid to like lose that sadness. I draw like a lot out of that.
Inspiration.
Yeah, because I have like I have a really big project like that'll probably manifest itself later in life. And with that project specifically, I feel like that is 100% like created and fueled by whatever happens to me when like I'm super super depressed. Cuz like I'll go months without writing, and then I'll get in one of those like those funks, and then like I bust out like a quarter journal in
Mm-hmm.
like a weekend, just
Mm-hmm.
writing, just tucking away building blocks for later.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I write less and I create less when I'm happy. When I'm happy, I just all I'm doing is adventuring. Everything's just an adventure. But like I create stuff, or like, you know, I enjoy creative things still. But like the shit that I like creating, that dark shit, that deep feeling shit,
Yeah.
man.
I really like melancholy. Melancholy is like a dope. I don't know, just a dope feeling of expression, like in art. Let me see if I can pull it up. Just like in general, even right, even the stuff that we posted up today. Um, melancholy is a emotion that I think holistically represents that kind of art.
Yeah.
Melancholy is like when you think of like Eeyore
Let me
from
get definition, young Philip, please.
Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh is melancholy.
Okay.
You want a definition of melancholy?
Well,
Yeah.
actually, I think
Yes,
Eeyore
sir.
from Winnie the Pooh is like more severe. But have you ever seen what's that one, the Pixar movie?
Sadness?
No, melancholy.
No, the character's sadness.
Oh, the character's called Sadness. I think
The blue one.
I think they represent melancholy more than sadness.
The feeling of pensive sadness, typically with no obvious cause.
Melancholy for me is like it's the looming. It's it's the unidentifiable cloud. It's the darkness in the corner of the room that follows you around. It's it's the it's the slight feeling of falling in your chest, like, but it just stays with you as you live about your whole day and you can't get rid of it. It's the feeling like you forgot something, but you know you're never going to remember what it was, even though you want to remember it. It's like, there's so many ways to kind of describe like melancholy.
It's like all those things, but not specifically those things at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're trying to describe a feeling. That's difficult to do outside of art. But
That's what, yeah, but that's why art is awesome.
Yeah.
Like I feel like me and you both, we a lot of the art that we like to make and that we enjoy is like of melancholy or adjacent suffering. But I think it's because I really think it's because like when you do it right, or at least when we do it, when we think we do it right to ourselves, there's a very beautiful thing about its portrayal. And I think that's just because we both love the human experience so much. And I think this isn't like an uncommon thing, right? Because like in Russian culture and East European culture, like it's more common for the romanticizing of suffering.
yeah,
Whereas in Western culture, it's the opposite. Like it's the happily ever afters. It's the good endings, all the happy endings. Everything turns out okay. And I think we just pull so much beauty from knowing like that's not always the case. That in the art itself, like it's a representation of experience. So maybe it's even just some, not like, I'm obviously well aware people have had worse lives than us. But I think when you like art as much as we do, there's some kind of like special satisfaction you pull from trying to manifest some physical version of your suffering for others to understand you. Because right, humans crave connection, and We want to be understood. And when you feel like you've lived so much of your life in a dark place, and you can make a kind of art that makes other people understand a dark place that you used to live in, you gain this validation of connection that connects you with the consumer of the art, and makes you feel like when you look at the thing that you made, like this is it, like that's it, like this is what I've been feeling, like this is such a great representation. And then when people see that and they can relate to it, you're like they get it, like I fucking did it, like they understand me, like there's a validation.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a whole element of art.
I personally love all the dark art. Like I think
So much.
I think dark art for me, like when when I look through all the art that I like and the art that I consume, so much of it is like pretty fairy tale or just beauty, and I really do love happy stuff. I really do love happy stuff. But something about dark art just like really tickles my fancy just a little bit more so. And I don't like over consuming it. Like most of the stuff that I share, most of the stuff that I put on stories, most of the stuff like that is like positive, not positive like in the traditional sense, but like you wouldn't look at that and think something dark or negative. But when I do see a piece, like I saw a piece the other day, and it was somebody laying on the ground, and there was like 15 hands reaching out from the shadow, like grabbing them while they're sleeping. And they had a caption on it. Let me see if I can pull up the caption and read the caption really quick here. Really quick. And it is... Found it. Okay. I don't even know how to say this word. Languidly decay and the serenity during it. And this is, I'm gonna show you it from across the room. This is the...
Oh, that's pretty cool.
But even just like the idea, like the serenity during decay, I'm like, fuck yeah, like that's beautiful. Like that fucking piece of art is beautiful. Like I fucking love that shit.
Yeah, that's a fire piece right there.
But what I don't think that's necessarily unhealthy.
Nah.
I think it's just preference.
I've been thinking a lot about this lately, because like I'm I was gonna say I'm fascinated, but I don't know if that's the right way to describe it. I actually just a big part of figuring when you're wandering the mind, and how you see the world that you're experiencing, um, you gotta, before you can even figure out what you want to know or try to figure out, you got to figure out how to even ask the question. Just a little bit of a tangent. That's what made people like Albert Einstein and Tesla, folks like that, geniuses, is because they figured out answers to things before we even figured out how to ask for those answers. It's weird. Like they saw the question where most people probably just thought that they were loonies or whatever. But anywho, that's a tangent. I digress. I just figured out the other day how to even ask the question to what I'm even wondering. And the question is, what relationship does art have to human evolution? And it's so like complex, so it's going to take me so long to like completely explore it, but I'm absolutely obsessed with figuring it out. Of course, like, because there's this like tie-in between art and culture. There's this like necessary relationship between the two, but like, is culture a result of art or is art a result of culture? That's what I'm wondering also. But one of the early reasons for art is suspected to be communication. And they're really, I kind of don't like that answer because I want something a little bit more like romantic to be the answer, especially when it comes to art, like communication.
I can
But,
romanticize that answer.
yeah, for sure. But it is interesting because it's communicating feelings.
Expression. You're expressing yourself to somebody else
Is a task.
and trying to get them to understand what you're expressing.
I have a friend that's a rapper, and when you talk to him, and I don't mean any disrespect, my guy knows I love him very much. When you talk to him in just a normal conversation back and forth, he's not a man of many words. If you didn't know him personally, you wouldn't know that he's actually an intellect. But because he's not a man of many words, you would assume that he didn't know many big words. Like, it's the oddest thing to me, but beautiful at the same time, because when he's talking to you regularly, it's almost like he doesn't know how to use big words in the right places or the right way. Like, this is what you're assuming. Like, he has a hard time talking. But then when he gets in a booth and he starts rapping, you like, he has a lot to say. There's a lot to say. And all those big words are used right in the right way. And there's even bigger words that I never even knew existed that he knows and he puts in there. It's like, if you really want to know how he feels, or if you really want to learn something from him, don't talk to the man. Go listen to one of his songs, because you're going to get way more from his art as far as communication goes than you will just trying to have like a one-on-one talk with him. And then like thinking and reflecting over something like that makes me start to think about like how we try to explain feelings and we're saying all these words and we're trying to come up with the best words and shit, but like there's really no way of putting words on some feelings. It's really a challenge. But I think for me, another factor on top of everything that you said a few minutes ago about art is that there's these feelings that you can't always find words for, but somehow through art you're able to like, it's kind of like when you're trying to talk to someone and like convey something to them and you feel like they're not getting it, but you're trying so hard for them to get it, and like, and you're trying to think of all the words to say, and it's just not working out. It's like a lot of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, when you finally are able to say it in a way that, like, it's completely conveyed, it's like, it's the biggest relief in the world. You're like, you finally, like, made the connection.
Mm-hmm.
You made the relation. Like, you finally got it across. And I feel like there's a lot of things where if I were to go try to put them in words and just talk about them, it just wouldn't convey. But, like, through art, it's like, I feel the connection when someone else has a response to my artwork.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why I like I don't care how dark or how sinister or sad any artwork is that I create, because like nothing fucking hits those chemicals for me more than like creating a reaction and a response in someone when they look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that priest and homeless person picture, or like
Fire photo.
the picture of me naked.
One of my
in the
favorite
attic.
photos.
That-
That's
yeah.
another awesome photo.
That was a fire photo. The photo of me naked in the attic. We dropped a teaser tonight. That's definitely a favorite. But I don't even know what that photo even represents to me, other than like just a feeling felt before.
Mm.
There's really no words that make sense for it. It's just like, it's just a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I love when shit comes out that way, and it makes me want to like push the limits more to photos. It's hard because everything's digital now, and there's all these different fucking community standards and guidelines and shit. It's so annoying, but yeah, push the limit. Like that one photo, I really, in my mind, when like it was manifesting in my thoughts, you were naked,
Mm-hmm.
but it ended up not being that way. But there was a part of that was like important to it at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But I just ride the wave, and it turned out to be exactly what it was meant to be, and that's perfect to me. But those are ways where like I want to push the envelope to things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I got this like fire ass photo idea. Like, I really like.
My mom. I mean, I agree. I think me naked probably would be super fire. Although I like the outcome that what we got. I feel like I get a lot of my mom was an artist. Like she drew and took photos. And there's actually a photo of me, and it's like a really artistic photo, but it's literally of like, it's so human. Like there's some people that are probably going to hear this and think it's weird. And there's some people that are going to hear this that are artists and fucking get it. But it's the most human thing. And it's literally my dad standing up holding me when I'm a baby, and he's naked and I'm naked. And it's literally just him standing in the kitchen holding me like against his chest. And that's the photo. And I think that's like a beautiful fucking photo. Like that is a artistic, beautiful human photo. Like that is human.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fire.
And people in the West, in this hemisphere, North America, like people will get upset about photos like that. But there's, in my opinion, I have nothing negative to say about a photo of my dad holding me in that context. Like that is a beautiful human experience. Like I think that is literally just like if aliens landed on Earth, like I don't think they would have anything fucking weird to say about that.
Right.
I feel like we've talked about this stuff before. I don't know, nudity just gets fucking spun so weird here in North America.
Yeah.
I want to stick more to the artistic side about it and not focus on the negative, but you probably get what I'm saying. Like that's just a fire ass photo.
Yeah, that's fire. I because I'm getting older, I guess, and I'm doing more reflection, a lot of my views and feelings about things are changing as the more like I really like I'm really antisocial in the clinical definition. As in I don't like authority, I don't like structure. I know it's good for me. I know that I crave it and I know that I live my healthiest life when I have it. That's where discipline comes in. But I don't like it. And I'm learning now that I'm older and reflecting that a lot of things that I thought I agreed with and wanted to like fight for and be a part of, I actually don't agree with it when I actually like sit down and think about it. And I only fought against it because of my anti-social like personality. And I think the nudity thing might be that because like I do notice that in European countries it's not as big of a deal. Like there was a European version of Jersey Shore, and on that one, just like on regular TV, like you got to see all the titties. And it's not really a big deal, I guess, to European folk, but this is what I wonder. In a world where capitalism and abuse exist, and we clearly see this machine that's over sexualizing everyone, really. But as a father with little daughters, I'm going to say women.
Mm-hmm.
I just, with that being a thing mixed with like being open about nudity, like I just wonder what kind of like effect those two things have together. Because like when it comes to art, like I have a photographer that I really, really, really fucking admire. On Instagram, his name is Poopy Photographer, and 99% of his photos have nude women in it. And I don't have one problem at all with those pictures being on the internet. I wouldn't have a problem if my kids were scrolling along and seeing his pictures. He's an incredible artist. What he creates is very obviously and clearly like art. I don't have a problem with that. But like there's women, and it's crazy because Joe Rogan just talked about this on his podcast today. And like I just had this talk with my girlfriend a couple of days ago. I was telling her, I'm like, in my algorithm now on Instagram, somehow women with fake babies breastfeeding them in quotation has popped up in my algorithm. And like you see full tit, like it's whole titty out, like completely out, like very blatantly, and they're feeding a fake baby. And it could be like maybe it started as being like educational. I can see how that could be a thing, but like the deeper that rabbit hole goes, it's very clearly it's like clickbait for you to get to their link in their bio. That worries me.
That's a wild way to get to a bio.
That worries me.
That's a wild way to get to a bio. I'm assuming without you saying it that I understand what you're saying, which I think I do. Which is that's wild. I was literally about to go a whole different direction with nudity and talk about John Lennon and
We can do that. Let me just say this one last thing because I think I figured out a way to summarize it. What I would truly like in the perfect world is to keep the community guidelines and standards, because I think mostly it's in place to keep us safe, or at least our kids safe. I just wish that they would consider art a little bit more. And I don't know if there's a way to give leeway to art. And then you get into the subjective debate on what's art and what's not art. And that's just a slippery slope. So I guess maybe this is the problems that they've come across. But I'm good with the protection. I just wish that like it was just a little bit more fair and rational.
It's strange because like it's the platform dynamics are different in a way that if you walk in a public space in Europe, right, or you go to an art museum, like there's art that has been submitted and cleared by the museums, and or you go to an art show, like everything is there represented by a specific artist and everyone is aware of like what is there. But you also walk around in public and there's many beautiful paintings oftentimes are in buildings and cafes or statues, like depending where you are in Europe, of beautiful naked people, like the human body, beautiful, sculpted beautifully. Like it's nobody has a problem with kids being like around because it's not sexualized, like it's just art.
So I get a better understanding of this. Do you feel like in Europe that the over sexualization through like our media and mostly our media?
You mean in America, not Europe?
Well, my question is, do you think that happens less in Europe than in America?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But also, like, it's also just destigmatized. Like, I don't know. I think there's a lot of things in Europe that are destigmatized that in America have stigmas to them.
Because, like, I agree. If the greater point of what you're trying to say is that the body isn't that big of a deal and nudity shouldn't be that big of a deal, it's the human body. And I think it's good that like our kids are informed and understand their freedoms and understand their boundaries, and are taught to embrace their bodies. All that shit's like really good. Like I jive with that.
I'm not disagreeing, by the way, with like online spaces having protections in place to prevent kids from accessing things that they shouldn't have access to. I think that's important.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I think it's interesting how like when you talk about where the line comes in for art expression being art,
Yeah.
in the physical world, like if you go outside of America, there's less of that in the physical world. But online, like, if online is just another manifestation of a reality, it's just digital. Like, you would think it would have about the same kind of experience. But I think even, I don't know, like, I could be speaking out my ass. But right, like Twitch, for example, recently went through a whole thing not too long ago where tasteful nudity was allowed on Twitch for art purposes.
It was abused.
And it was abused.
Yeah.
But there are like websites that will flag art, like well-known art, like famous art, like naked sculptures and famous paintings. And it's like, but you can literally walk, like people can be there and see it in person. So this, like, there's this weird gray line where all of a sudden, because it's online, like you're not allowed to see it, but if you're in person, you're allowed to see it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm trying to say. There's not even a wider point. It's just an observation, which you would think it would be the opposite.
We definitely share that. We share that observation.
You would think there would be stricter, at least in my brain, you would think there would be more severe restrictions in place for real life than there would be on a digital device. Like if we're worried about people seeing something.
Yeah.
So I just always find it like kind of interesting that the restrictions are mostly on a digital device and not in real life, when like people can literally see things in real life.
Because I think in reality, it really isn't that big of a deal. Like most things, though. Like most things. Like when you think of your everyday, like day-to-day reality, it's not like hyper-sexualized.
I think it's control. I think it's just control, because like these things give access for people who generally don't have control to have control over what they can consume. And in real life, you're gate kept by circumstance and your situation. And unless your parents are letting you go see those things, like if you're a teenager or something and they let you go out to an art museum or go out to these places, like you're not going to see it. And this thing allows you to circumnavigate parental, quote, guidance or restriction or whatever that may be. So I think the restrictions really are just in place to prevent there being issues between parents and these corporations.
Yeah.
For circumnavigating like parenting.
Liability thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. What time we at, young Philip?
Also,
Right there at 59 minutes.
Also, I'd like to say in general, like for most of that stuff, I think it's like my content, for example, I have a strict like 18 and up only, and I don't even really post anything crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But mine, like I'm 18 and up content. Like I don't produce content for people who are under 18. And even on my Twitch, like I'm pretty sure I have it set to mature audiences. Like it's just, that's just it. But I know when I was a kid, like if I have to speak from my experience, my mom never hid nudity from me in the art space ever. Like it was super normalized. And when I was in Estonia, super normalized. Like you go out, great example. This is something that like I need to get a drink. This is something that Americans would shit their fucking beds. I should have brought this up earlier. Americans would fucking lose their fucking minds. But if I told you that, like, most countries in Europe, when you go out to a public place, like a water park or a spa or any of these places, and there's a sauna, like, people aren't weirdos. And I don't know if Americans know this, but, like, you use the sauna naked.
Mm-hmm.
And people aren't, like, going alone. Most of the time people are, like, with their parents and stuff. But, like, and there's towels. Like, you can use a towel if you're uncomfortable. But, like, those kinds of things, like, you're around naked people all the fucking time, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, when I was a kid, fucking, when I went out to the water park, when I went out to the beach, I was fucking naked. Like, when we had family over or there was, like, some kind of event, like, everybody was fucking naked in the sauna. Like, you're just raised around people being naked. Like, it's not a weird thing. Like, people, it's just the human body. It's that simple. So, and I feel like that's a thing that Americans, you bring an American over there, you see somebody who's not of the culture, and they're so uncomfortable. Like, they are extremely uncomfortable. Like, it's funny because, like, even I went through, like, this transition period after having been through high school and then went back there. Even though when I was younger, I would be naked in these spaces. After I had got done high school and had been, like, quote unquote Americanized through my teenage years, I went back there and I would, like, try to wear swimming trunks and put a towel around myself in these spaces when I want to use the sauna, and there'd be people my age not doing it. And that's how quickly, like, I had already shifted back to a societal standard.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's something to that. That the more healthy exposure that someone has early on in life, there's just less problems later on. For me, in my experience, like, the more taboo the people in my life made things, the more it just snowballed. Things just, it just made things a lot worse. It tied a lot of things to, like, stimulation triggers, and it's just the more taboo people made things, the more, like, exciting in a troublemaking way things became. I was getting in trouble for, like, porn as early as, like, 9, 10 years old. But,
Dude,
like,
I used to get this is a wild this part, this is like a section that would be great on, like, the Patreon, like, this following topic. But I remember getting, like, Rolling Stone magazines, like, when I was in my early teenage years, like, very early teenage years, and I was like, holy shit, these women are hot. And those were my go-tos.
yeah, that
I remember Lady Gaga had, like, like a pink bubble suit one. I was like, holy shit, I've never seen a woman look like this.
porn has definitely evolved very quickly in just my lifetime alone, for sure. Because, like, with my earliest memories of it, like, when I was a kid, to get porn, like, you found a stack of old Playboy magazines in your dad's attic or your grandpa's attic. In my case, my grandpa's attic.
Or a calendar.
Yeah. And then family computers became a thing, but there was no like Pornhub or no videos. It was like a completely different world. But the point is that like at those ages, with the magazines and with the like those early versions of porn, the pictures and shit, I feel like the more taboo that all the adults were making it, and the more they made it a bigger deal than what it was, like I said, it just made everything taboo. So like when porn actually became,
You felt like you were breaking the rules.
yeah, it's exciting, the overstimulation of like doing the naughty thing that you shouldn't be doing. Whereas like it was directed there. Like whereas like if other approaches were taken, if I was taught about my body and taught about the things that I would experience and feel as a young man, and like the things that I might discover when I explore, and like what's right and what's wrong, and like all those things, like my life would have took a very different direction. But because everything was so taboo and like such a big deal and such a naughty thing, like in a disconnected ADD kid with no guidance, like that just became like a super huge trigger for like stimulation in the sense of serotonin, dopamine, all that shit. And that was just a recipe for disaster when porn actually became what it became later. It probably wouldn't have been that way if it wasn't like so taboo.
Mm.
So now I have this like as a teenager, now that I have this like this naughty thing connected to my serotonin hits as a teenager, not knowing the mental challenges that like I was dealing with, not knowing that I was ADD. And whenever, you know, I'm having those serotonin crashes, what do I turn to? Now I'm turning to like all the crazy porn, and like, and then that's not enough. And like now, like I'm starting to be sexually active in high school, and like that's what I'm turning to. Like anything that like that's sexual and like stimulates me, gives me that serotonin hit. Like it's connected to that now. So now that's what I mean by it's like a recipe for disaster.
I'm following.
Yeah. Yeah. So I say all that to just say that I agree with you. As someone who like if someone can have healthy exposure as they're growing and learning and stuff, I think it definitely creates a smoother life for that person later on in life. They don't have all those other problems.
You want to transition into talking real quick about some of the wild things we saw in the big T?
Yeah, man.
How about you break down one of the, well, first of all, Texas was pretty nice while we were down there. It was nice to be down there. Everything seemed pretty chill. Got to see a lot of beautiful shit. Fucking, we were out by Texaco one night, waiting for an Uber.
Yeah.
What fucking happened? The whole time, by the way, we never really saw anything out the ordinary. I feel like this dude really. Listen. So for the listeners, we had pretty much had a great trip the entire time. No problems. Never ran into any issues. Da 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 da. We get in an Uber one day, and this guy tells us that first of all, he thinks we're rock stars. To start everything off, like he really genuinely believes we're rock stars. He doesn't think like we're anything else. Like we tell him we're photographers, he doesn't think we're photographers. He thinks we're rock stars still. he like is trying to guess the band name, and like at this point I'm like, oh wait, this guy like isn't like a bit, like he really thinks like we're pulling his leg, and that we're the ones lying to him.
Yep.
And in which case like we progress later on and tell him like, no, we've actually been walking around. He's like, I'm surprised you guys haven't been shot or some shit like that, right? Like,
Yeah,
you guys are gonna get killed. And we're like, huh?
Yeah, he definitely made it sound like it was really out of the ordinary what we were doing, but really it wasn't, because there were people walking around.
Yeah,
That whole
absolutely.
time we were walking there, we walked by hella people, and every person that we walked by spoke, said hello, how are you doing, which was
Looked us in the eyes when they said it. Very respectful, like polite, like smile on their face.
That was one thing that I noticed when we got there, and the whole time I was there really was that how nice people were. There's like not one person that will walk by you without speaking to you. And that's definitely not a Northeast thing at all.
Definitely not. But so we were waiting for this Uber like the following night, and we see we see a cop pull over this car, and the car pulls into the gas station that we're at, this Texaco, right?
Yeah.
And the car stops, and the cop stops, and then the car just fucking peels out the gas station and starts driving away.
Yep.
And we watched the cop chase the fucking car like down the fucking highway or whatever the fuck it was. Like, what? Like, it was so random.
And then we were walking around one of the last days we were there. We were walking around in the historic part of town. And there was a fellow with no shirt and no shoes on, like, walking around. And it got real uncomfortable because he was walking around seeing if and checking to see if like different car doors were unlocked. And then he got to the one truck and the truck door came open, and I'm like, oh shit, here we go, motherfucker. And what's really weird, and it kind of tripped me out a little bit, because I'm always good. Apparently not, because I wasn't good this day, and it's kind of fucked me up a little bit, because I'm always good. I feel like I'm always on point. I'm gonna knock on wood. I don't even know if that's real fucking wood. Hold on. I feel like I'm real careful when it comes to my surroundings and what environment I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
And you told me that dude had walked by us a couple times, and I vaguely remember you trying to put me on to him early on when you had peeped him out. And you
The first time I saw him, I knew something was up because he was walking down the sidewalk with no shoes on. I'm like, bro, you is not walking out here when it's like 70, 75, no shoes on the fucking on this sidewalk. Like, there's a specific kind of concrete that the South uses that's like different than I think what is used up here, that has like more grit to it. And I'm like, that shit is either his feet are calloused over because he's always walking around barefoot, which means he's like out here, or like this dude's on something. And fucking he walks by, he had a shirt on and a backpack, and he had just lit something up, and he walked by us. And then we get out to where we was going out to, and then like not even like an hour and a half later, he's out there, but now he's got no shirt, no backpack, and he's just walking around in shorts. And I'm like, this dude fucking done lost all his shit.
Yeah, it was definitely weird. And I'm glad that we didn't have to get involved in it.
He got really close to, like, we were like within like 20 feet of this guy.
Yeah, I'm glad that it I got relieved of anything that could have happened that day.
Yeah, that was wild. Um, and then when we touched down in there, we also stopped by this vape shop. Do you remember the name of it at all?
Oh yeah. Oh shit. Do I remember the name of it? Now that I don't know. 515 vape shop.
515 vape shop. Is that what it is? 516, 515. It was in Grapevine.
I think it was 515. I don't even remember guy's name now.
Logan.
Logan. Yeah. Yeah. He definitely has some good customer service. He was very well versed in the vape world. Broke a lot of shit down to me. Got me right. Took care of me. Got me right.
Beast. Dude actually was so knowledgeable. I was like kind of really thrown off. I'm like, this dude knows way too much about vapes. I wasn't in there getting anything, but
he was
but
definitely good. He was definitely good at his job.
Which is kind of crazy. I don't think I've ever. Well, I don't go into vape shops, so I wouldn't know. But dude seemed like he fucking knew his shit. Like really.
No, that was the first experience for me dealing like getting that kind of service.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fire.
And then I guess the last thing we could talk about, kind of like speed running it. What was up with like everybody looking at us? Like when we was in the airport in Jersey or in Philly flying out to Texas, I swear we was being peeped hella. And then when we got in Dallas, Fort Worth, we was getting peeped even more than we were in Philly. Cause like I ain't even really noticed the Philly thing. I noticed it a little bit, but I was like, it's just like the first day nerves of like flying out. And then like we was down there and we was even after we got out of the airport and we was walking around, we was breaking necks. Like I was really watching people in the passenger seat of cars as they drove by, doing 180s and looking at us while we're walking down the road.
Yeah.
And I was so confused. I'm like, what's going on? Like, what is actually going on? Wait, do you have any fucking hypothesis about that? Like, any thoughts? Like, I'm really genuinely confused. Like, we looking crazy? Like, we looking fly? People thought we were somebody? Like,
I don't know. I guess it really depends on the person who's looking, cause like I think to most people, I like I don't know. I feel like I think a lot of people find me handsome. Um, I like to be truthful. I noticed it the first day. I noticed it the second day. Probably by the third day, I stopped noticing it for myself, but I was still noticing the attention that you were getting. And then eventually I stopped paying any mind to that too. Cause like I purposely try to like not stay like in my mind, not stay in that place for too long, because I think the line between confidence and just like being distasteful,
mm-hmm.
just being full of yourself,
Mm-hmm.
is very, very thin, and it's blurry as fuck. And I don't want to keep my ego in that place, because like it'll become too big of a deal to me, and I don't. That shit's just gross. It's gross when you see other people do it. It's gross when you see it in yourself. But like, I don't know. I do get like that. What happened there in Texas, like, I get that a lot, and I try not to think too much of it. Even like,
I don't really go out like that, so like when I do and that happens, it always throws me off.
I try not to even like pay any mind to it at all. Like even sometimes like um I'll be out with my girlfriend somewhere and she'll say something to me because she'll peep something. And
Yeah,
I'm
like people looking at you.
yeah, or whatever.
That's funny.
And I've really like a lot of time I try not to pay no mind to it. Um or even wonder why people do it or whatever. Like in my mind I just like fuck it. I just tell myself that I'm handsome. Like I enjoy it. I enjoy the moment, the flattering, like it's a flattering moment and then like I just try to in my mind just keep it pushing. Like I don't stay there because nothing really valuable comes out of all that. It's just ego strokes and it, yeah, I don't know. I just like to think that I like to think that when you're confident and when you're authentic and you're just trying to live your truth and you're not overly confident and you're a kind person and you enjoy the art and dance of discourse and conversing with people, I think things like that happen. People are going to stare at you a lot. People are going to find that very attractive. People are going to find that like find you handsome and confident and you got riz and swag and all that. And I just tell myself that that's all it is that people are recognizing they see the things in me that are the most attractive, and I like to think that that's being kind, being confident but not arrogant, not being full of myself, just being a cool groovy guy.
You
And
know,
I wear that, I illuminate that, I try to at least, and I feel like I tell myself that's what people see and that's what people like.
mm-hmm. No, I agree.
Yeah. I try to stay away from at least lately. Lately, I'm like I want to stay away from the I'm the shit thinking. You know what I mean?
I think like I think people I hopefully enamored is the right word. I think people generally are enamored by the aura of authenticity.
Yeah, facts. Facts.
And it doesn't really matter what you look like or who you are or what you're into, but like when you're your authentic self, like there's a aura that kind of generates from you that people can't help but to notice.
Mm-hmm.
And for some people they like it a lot, and for some people it's just they can't help but notice. I think it's a good guideline. Like if you view it that way, maybe you can tell yourself like you're keeping true to yourself at least. I know, like, I'll just say this before we touch off. Like, I literally was having a conversation with one of my homies on Discord, because we had some after parties we attended, and there was some nice DJ sets, and we listened to some great music, and I was debating with him whether or not I was gonna wear my pink boots, and I really wanted to, but part of me, I guess, like what it really is, I guess, because I was like 80% I wanted to do it, 20% of me was like this nagging voice in my head telling me like, nah, don't do it, like that's so extra, this and that. But like, you know me, and you know I love gaudy shit, and there's certain things I'm into, and when has that ever stopped me from wearing something that I wanted to wear? And the person telling me like, nah, fuck it, just do it, like, was enough reassurance kind of in the decision that I felt like I had already made. But just having that extra person be like, nah, fuck it, do it, ended up being like one of my favorite decisions of the trip, because it kind of helped reinforce my personal choices and preferences, like the back to the people being enamored by the aura of authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it helped really like rebind me to my own beliefs, and help keep myself in a mental space of like, it's dope that you like what you like because you are so you. Because I ended up getting so many nice things said to me specifically about the boots that I wore. And it was a nice reassurance, because I've definitely have had people try to convince me not to wear things like that,
Mm-hmm.
who when I've wanted to wear things like that.
Yeah.
So hearing other people say it and like kind of reaffirm my personal preferences was very helpful for my own confidences, whatever. But back to the aura of my authentic self, being my authentic self.
I can definitely understand how you would get a lot of validation from that, for sure.
Without saying too much, I feel like you probably know what I'm referring to or what I'm talking about. But
no, I mean, I think everyone does. You're doing good.
okay.
Yeah, but I can see how that definitely really could validate you. I totally get that. I guess if I want to try to wrap it up into like some nice advice, I would say there's these lyrics from a 90s song, and for whatever reason I can't put my finger on what song it is, but the lyrics are you are what you feel. And I think that's like maybe a little cliche.
That's beautiful.
Maybe
Nah, that's beautiful.
maybe it's a little bit silly, but I think there is a lot of truth to that. And I feel like I kind of when I feel like a rock star, I feel like I really wear that feeling. And I feel like when I go out and like I'm in rock star mode, that like, and I'm illuminating that, I feel like that's when I get the most uh attention, or like the most politeness, the most kindness, like the most friendship out of people. I don't know. I just feel like I try to like rock with that. I try to wear that feeling. Try to be that, you know? And when people like see it and you can tell they like it, they jive with it, like that's flattering. That's cool as shit. That's awesome. And if
Absolutely.
and if people don't fuck with it, like it's still okay, because I get enjoyment that like in Ace's world, like I'm the motherfucking rock star. I'm sitting in this restaurant full of people, right? But I'm the rock star. Like I'm although I'm not the center of the attention of the room, in Ace's world, I am. And like that's cool with me. That's enough with me. Like I'm the center of my world.
Mm.
That's that main character syndrome shit. coming on.
Yes, it is.
Hell yeah.
But you check yourself a lot.
I do, and that's like that's reminders that like I'm still healthy.
No, but you are the shit.
I appreciate that.
You should definitely think yourself. Everybody should think they are the shit, but also be humble enough to think they aren't the shit at the same time. And it's finding that nice balance. That's the hard part.
That really is the truth. That really is the truth, and it's like it's almost paradoxical in the sense that
criticality is the key.
Yeah, it's almost paradoxical, almost like the having to do something but not having to do it at the same time. It's so weird. It's so weird. Cause like you need enough empathy to like ground you, right? But there are moments where you are the main character. And when you find yourself as the main character, live that shit the fuck up and enjoy that shit and be the fucking main character. But don't let go of the empathy, because that's when you become a monster.
You're everyone. Yeah. This is so hard. I don't even want to say anything on top of that. I always like to just remind myself that there's like we're all just people.
Yeah.
We're all
That's
just people.
Facts.
I love meeting people on even ground.
Hell yeah, dog. Fire episode.
I ain't better than nobody.
That's facts.
And I have a lot to learn from everybody.
Yep.
Because I ain't never lived the experience somebody else's experience. And if you really want to improve your life or take something away from it, you got to be open to learn from other people's experiences.
Facts.
Because they're living their world while you're living your world. And
Facts.
if you're only living in your world, like, you're not really going to learn much. You ain't going to make it too far.
I co-sign all of that, actually. I'm in full agreement.
So no matter how crazy, no matter how much people think you're the shit, like, you always got something to learn from somebody.
You gotta allow yourself the opportunity. Get out of your own way. Allow yourself the opportunity to learn from each other.
Somebody could always teach you a story that you never knew, never heard, never experienced.
Oh yeah. A quick shout out to our sponsors. We appreciate all the support for the episode. MRDC Bazaar LLC and Coors Cups. Both of their links will be in the episode description. For all of my content, everything Ace, Linktree/Ace Ford. When you listen to this episode, there will have been a teaser photo dropped for a collab that I have coming up, probably the end of next month. And on the first of the first of the month, on my solo podcast, the Ace Ford podcast, I have a returning guest, a brand new episode, my friend Marion. So that will be coming out in a few days after you hear this.
Hey, episode 69. We're almost at 70.
Yeah, you can find us on Spotify, Anchor, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. We're on Facebook. Now we're on Patreon. Now we're on YouTube. Everything at the Birth Therapy Show. Love you guys.
31 episodes away from 100. Stay safe. Take care. We love y'all. It's been a trip. Just got back from a trip. About to take another trip. Trip down memory lane.
Is it rap? Did you stop recording?
No.